The Terrible Warriors is made possible by support from Patreon at patreon.com/terriblewarriors. And listeners like you who subscribe, like, and share with other people. Every time you mention us on Twitter, a Terrible Warrior gets his wings. And today, on The Terrible Warriors, we return to that galaxy far, far away in the Anoat Sector on a have-not planet called Nethoin. Our Imperial officers are starting to make a name for themselves. And those in power are taking notice. In the next hour, their loyalties will be tested. And they will have to decide whose side they're really on. The evil train has left the station, and there's no turning back now. All that remains are ashes of the Empire. And our Imperial agents towing the line, they are your Terrible Warriors.
Hello, terrible listeners, and welcome back to the Terrible Warriors Star Wars game, which, affectionately we've been referring to as Space Nazis, question mark?
Affectionately?
I mean, it was affectionately from me, I don't know about you. Yeah, our totalitarian government, everyone is terrible people Star Wars game, where everyone has to be in the Empire. Things have been going well, and around, I'm really happy with it. I don't know about you. Everyone else is not happy with it at all. They're like, why are you doing this to us? Which is exactly what I wanted.
I mean, I like playing evil characters.
That's why I invited you, as I keep saying. And speaking of that's why I invited you, who did I invite? You, to my left.
It's Julian with the gloves.
He's putting the gloves back on. We're doing one glove on, one glove off episodes.
He's gonna Michael Jackson this one.
Oh, he's just got one this time. Next to him.
AJ Trips, C-3PO.
Oh, Trips.
Something there.
Tripio.
I think Justin wants me to put the other glove on. Yeah.
Oh, or are you just...
We're gonna...
Aw, friendship gloves.
It's gonna fit. Oh, no, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, you need to have tiny hands.
So now it's like Luke and Vader.
Yeah.
And lastly, but not leastly, who just put a glove on.
Oh, yes. Connell Macbeth, better known in the nerd community as Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terrawad, playing Magus Octurus.
Amazing. So when we left off, we had just finished playing Papers, Please, the hospital DLC. Where we went in and discovered that we are stockpiling universal donor blood for whatever reason. Some of it is going off planet. Yes, AJ?
And we're not taking care of any of the citizens of Nethoin.
Nethoin. I'm not 100% sure. Like, literally, this planet is so have-not that there was no pronunciation key on Wikipedia.
San Diego.
Like, you know how everything else has a pronunciation key? Yeah, the planet I picked did not.
So just do your best written next to it.
Yeah, like every time we say it, we should say it a different way just to piss people off.
Nethoians? Nethoiites.
People of Nethoin.
Oh my god.
Nethoyan.
So we found all that out. We made a little mini concentration camp for sick people.
It's a quarantine.
Yes.
My players are very angry that I keep calling it a concentration camp. And we're going to have a meeting with Baumgartner, who's basically in charge of the Empire on Nethoin. So he does agree to see you, Trips. Yes.
So he agrees to see you.
Yes.
Am I going to be a part of that meeting at all?
Here's why he agrees to see you, right? He looks into who you have been dispatched with.
Yes.
And he sees the two of them, right? You've gotten a commendation, Julian, from your first day when you murdered an innocent man.
Yeah.
And Connell has gotten a commendation for for finding that there was a problem with how the food was being distributed, right? So Hughes loves you, Julian, but Hughes does not love Connell, right? So he looks at all of your records, and then he sees that you, AJ, work with both of these people, and he agrees to have you come to this meeting.
Yes.
But then also these two are invited, not through you. They're sent private communications saying to show up at X time. Right? So all three of you are going to show up to this meeting.
With Mr. Baumgartner.
Baumgartner wants to see all of you.
Now, is Hughes... So are we in the room where you want to set anything up?
No, you just arrived the next morning. None of you knew anyone else was going to be there, so you have that moment of like, oh, am I in the right place? Are you coming in too? Okay, great. Bye, I
If
guess.
I knew I was going to be meeting with Bob Gardner, I would have taken some time to put together an itinerary of other things that I want to improve.
Okay, yeah, you have that on your data pad with you.
Just be like,
Yeah, here are some additional suggestions.
Yeah, and here's a bunch of additional stuff that I could fix if you would just let me fix it.
If you just let me do these things that no one's ever asked me to do.
I could improve productivity by this % and remove this many people from your system.
I've prepared a data pad summarizing everything that I've got on Hughes with, links to to actual official documentation that he can corroborate, just so I can slip it to him and give him the Cliff's Notes.
Amazing. And what do you got, Trips?
Well, I was just going to explain to Baumgartner that I believe that Hughes may be a rebel spy and supporting the rebels by smuggling supplies in through the hospital from other places and possibly blood out to
And you
help.
you have your appropriate documentation for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that I discovered in the hospital. I don't think our hospital staff are necessarily in cahoots. I think it might only be on Hughes.
On Hughes.
But,
You've discovered a rebel plot, you sneaky devil.
That's right.
All right.
And I'm optimistic he's going to believe me.
That's really out of character for you. I'm going to have to pull on your motivation. No. So you go into the meeting with Baumgartner, and he's at his desk. It's early morning. You've just had breakfast. This is a first thing kind of a meeting. And he's sitting at his desk, and he looks very tired, and he has a lot of documents already in front of him on the desk. And he has the three of you sit down, and he welcomes you. And, you've received, a lot of you have received commendations for your work. You've done a very excellent job in everything you've been put into in a very short amount of time. And I see all the commendations here, and that is why I have met with you. I understand that you have something to bring to me.
So I turn to Baumgartner. So we don't mean to take up any more of your time than we need to, but this is a pressing matter. We have discovered treachery at a shocking level.
This is a very very out there claim.
We have evidence. We
Yeah.
have evidence, and we have reason to believe that Officer Hughes has, at the very least, been abusing the system for his own personal gain, and at the very worst, could quite possibly be working for the rebels.
And Baumgartner takes a deep breath and sits back and just
Fuck.
one of those long suffering sighs. He already looks so tired. And he picks up a couple of stacks of papers from his desk and he says, I assume you've brought evidence.
Hand over my pad.
So there follows a very tense 10 minutes or so while he reads it over. You are still standing there in the room. He hasn't even offered to allow you to take a seat.
Yep.
You are standing in front of his desk as he goes over the documents.
It's going well, guys.
And finally he puts the data pad down. And he doesn't give any indication that he believes you or doesn't. And he just says, explain. Right? Like tell him what these documents say. Tell him sell this to him. Sell to him that Hughes is a traitor.
Explain.
We have witnessed firsthand the independent appropriation of rations, to which Hughes himself admitted to me directly of it being his own plan, his own strategy.
I like the use of that word, independent appropriation. That's good. Sorry.
We
No, I love it.
In our tenure working for the hospital, we discovered just through routine
Tenure, our 8-hour shift.
our tenure, we discovered just through simple routine exploration that Hughes has been siphoning away Bacta for a personal condition without the appropriate requisition forms. Now, this all sounds innocuous and at a personal greed level, but you can imagine some of these records that don't add up, these strange shipments, these unauthorized distributions. It could lead to something a lot more sinister. And I worry that without careful consideration, we could be exposing ourselves. I feel that this is just...
And the distribution through the smuggler ship.
Yeah, I mean, the smugglers is pretty obvious. And to follow up what...
Bodmonitor.
Yeah, Bodmonitor was saying, where it could lead, I mean, it could also lead up the ranks. So if it isn't Officer Hughes, it could also be you.
I mean, he was on board until you said that. Baumgartner does bristle.
You will have to excuse our protocol droid. He is mildly malfunctioning.
But I'm going to get better.
I'm still trying to fix it.
So, Julian, I'm going to have Jarrell give me a roll here. But I would like to talk to you about what kind of role you would like this to be.
So I believe
because I'm thinking something along the lines of charm or coercion.
I was gonna think coercion or charm. I'm gonna use charm because I've got a lot of points in charm.
Yeah, how many? You have 2 in charm.
And I also have the ability to re-roll anything that involves charm if it doesn't work once per session.
Oh, good.
So I think that this is probably a turning point.
You have 2 in charm and 2 in presence, correct?
I do, yes.
Okay. You are going up against a superior officer that technically you have no
chain.
You have
No
really
relationship.
no relationship with this man. You're telling him that his direct underling has been appropriating things and doing all sorts of things, and you're telling him that he was fooled. Your protocol droid just said it might be him too. This is going to be so you
not wrong.
get these 2 yellow dice, right? That replace your green ones because of your numbers. It's going to be a hard roll. So I'm going to give you 3 purple dice, but I've upgraded one to the red die that we haven't used yet
no,
because
that's
you are
scary.
going up against a major force in your life.
That is a scary.
And
scary.
I'm trying to decide whether I'm giving you any of these situational dice as well.
You have lots of evidence, maybe.
I am going to give you a good one because of your evidence, but I'm also going to give you a bad one because he doesn't like what your droid said.
I've got it's like 12 dice in here.
Yeah, so this is the biggest dice pool we've used so far.
Oh my.
Whoa!
All right,
Oh, they're
so
right on
let's...
the edge of the table.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that roll. Okay,
So this is
so
like
let's start
neutral
talking about what we've got.
one success, 2 success,
Okay, 2 successes.
3 of the rebel dudes. What are they called?
Triumph.
Advantages.
Or advantages, yep,
Triumphs.
no triumphs.
No
There are
triumphs,
2
rather.
advantages.
1 fail, 1 complication,
Yeah,
and one anarchy symbol.
1 threat and 1 anarchy symbol, which we haven't had before, that I am just going to quickly...
It's probably bad.
Yes, that is a despair.
I thought Triumph was the lightsaber.
Triumph is the, like, shiny lightsaber.
Yeah, we only have
dude.
advantages.
Yeah, you only have advantages,
Yeah,
which are
advantages,
the,
yeah.
like, little wingy dudes.
So 2 successes,
So
3
technically-
advantages.
So a
technically we won.
despair would cancel out a triumph,
oh, good.
right? So a despair is actually your most powerful negative result.
Yeah, we have one of those.
Yeah, it
good.
indicates a significant bane or detrimental outcome. Oh no! Each despair symbol imposes 2 effects. First, each despair symbol counts as 1 failure.
Oh, okay.
So, but this means blah, 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 blah. Secondly, each despair symbol can also be used to trigger potent negative effects.
Can I re-roll my...
Yes, would you like to use your...
I would like to reuse my... Well, now, the question is, I want to see what the exact rule says. Do I have to re-roll
Yes.
a die or the whole dice pool?
I believe it's the entire pool.
Yeah, re-roll the whole pool.
Yeah.
So, okay, before we do this...
Do you want to talk about what this would
Yeah,
be?
because right now we have a tie of failures and successes.
Let's
right?
cancel some things out. So
Yeah.
your despair is also a failure.
Yeah, so these
right?
cancel. This is that.
In the end, you have two
that.
advantages.
You have two
and nothing
advantages,
else.
but no successes.
Yeah. And this
Right?
thing also
And you
does some
have-
scary things too, right? In addition to fail.
Yes, I can also. It is basically a super threat,
Ah.
right? So
So right now we were just
have-
neutralized because we have 3 advantages, 1 threat, and a super threat, which is probably equivalent to 2 advantages. So at this point we have nothing.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you basically would just be talking, and he would not be listening at all.
Yeah.
I won't give you, because you have a couple of extra advantages, I won't give you like a super awful despair
Yeah.
on that. We'll say they
I
cancel
mean, we could,
each other out.
I think the despair is really bad. I
I'd
think
say
it's probably
reroll is-
worth the reroll.
Yeah.
This blows it for the rest of the game, but that's fine. I'm okay with this. Is
Yeah.
important.
It blows it for this next hour.
Oh, it's
I
only-
will
oh,
give
okay.
it. I will give it to you. Yeah, we're counting each hour as a session.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
then
per
I'm
session.
definitely gonna reroll.
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
Yeah.
This is
go
the
for
Monty
that.
Hall problem. If I don't reroll,
Then it could be worse, but
Yeah, so
it's-
this
we
is
could
his-
also get better than neutral.
This is his natural charmer skill.
this is much better because
Oh,
we have
nice.
a lightsaber
Oh yeah,
We got a triumph.
you have a triumph.
and no fails and 1 success and 3 advantages and 1 disadvantage, and that's it, and 3 blanks.
Sweet. Okay. So
Oh, nice.
when you cancel all of that out, what are you left with?
I am left with
Two
Two-
advantages, 1 success, and a triumph.
3 advantages, 1 success, a triumph, and this cancels. Yes,
Yeah,
this
that's
cancels,
good. Yeah. So in the end, you have 2
Two.
advantages, a success, and a triumph.
So triumphs, like despairs, it's basically the exact opposite, right? So each triumph counts as 1 success. Blah 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 blah. Second, each triumph can also be used to trigger incredibly potent effects. 2 common uses are to automatically trigger critical injury if you are attacking, which you are not. Or they may just be basically a super advantage. And then there's a whole page, like, way off somewhere. The one thing about this book that really drives me insane, just as a quick aside, is it's like, hey, there are a whole bunch of things you can do with this. Why don't you just flip 200 pages away to go look at it? And I'm like,
I hate table diving. Table
Yeah.
diving is the worst.
yeah, it's like, here, let's give you 400 tables, but none of them are where they're supposed to be. We put them all up at, like, page 300. And I'm like, thank you. So, okay, with that roll, he believes you.
Excellent.
He absolutely buys everything you're saying. He is at least telling himself and now you that he was having a bad feeling about Hughes. He's been like talking with Hughes more frequently. Something was just rubbing him the wrong way about Hughes. But you lot are trustworthy in his eyes now, right? That is your triumph here. He trusts you implicitly now. Certainly much more than he trusts Hughes, because look at this data pad. And he gives you the data pad back, and he says, look, I'm about to tell you something that can't leave this room. Not only is Hughes corrupt, he is reporting around me directly to Adelhard, and Adelhard is corrupt.
Oh, shit.
This goes much further
Oh, the governor.
than me. Yes, the Governor Adelhard, right?
Now,
This goes much further than me.
Baumgartner's not above Adelhard?
No, Baumgartner reports to Adelhard, or at least to his people. And he has
Because he runs the military base, but there's the
he
civilian
runs
government, right?
the military on Nethoin, right, which is a planet in the Anoat Sector, and the Governor Adelhard runs the whole sector, right? He's the Imperial who runs this whole sector, but he has given basically Nethoin, the planet you were on, to Baumgartner. He's kind of his general.
Okay, so do we want to play a game of political hopscotch and just, like, go over the next person to try and root him out?
What Baumgartner tells you, he's going to level with you completely because he trusts you implicitly. Like, with that role, he's going to tell you everything. He has been investigating. He didn't realize that Hughes was in on it, but that makes a lot of sense to him. He knows that Adelhard has been, not completely above board with all of this. Adelhard is dealing with smugglers, right, to bring things in, to bring information in. He suspects that all of Adelhard's blustering is to cover that something very wrong has happened outside of Anoat. He doesn't know what. He's not strong enough to know what. He's not given any of this information, but he knows something bad has gone on, right? He doesn't think that the Anoat system should be blocked off. He thinks that all of this is harming the Empire instead of hurting it. And he sees you as people who care about the Empire and who care about the Empire running correctly and who care about its people. And
efficiently.
Baumgartner finds it very upsetting that this level of corruption has been allowed to happen. And what he wants is for all of this to stop. And he looks at all of you, and you can tell that this has been weighing very heavily on his mind for some time. And he says, I had dinner with Adelhard last night. He is on Nethoin, but only for the next couple of days. There is going to be a banquet tonight where he's going to have, Hughes will be there, I will be there, all of the important people are going to be there, and we need to do something about Adelhard.
I could convert a closet into an incinerator and tell him it's the bathroom. Then you just have to put laxatives in his drink, and when he goes to take his shit, then his problem's gone. Or are you looking for something more subtle?
I don't think there is no one in this system. There is no one in this system above Adelhard. And I don't know, because I don't know what's happened outside of the Anoat system. I don't know who we can ask for help, and I don't know how to get anything out there for help. I believe we are on our own.
Now, we do this, and we fail. That is all our heads.
If we fail, I will 100% throw you under the bus.
Yep.
Well,
to save my own skin.
Hang on a second. Before we proceed any further, can I do a check on the veracity or to verify
Do you want to try and read him?
what you're telling us? Because there's so much corruption, perhaps even Baumgartner here is throwing
us. Boy, you really don't like Baumgartner.
Not a bad call. Not a bad call.
Yeah, you really don't like Baumgartner.
I just want to verify that what he's saying is true. I'm personally optimistic, but...
So this would be a perception or perhaps a streetwise roll. You are free to...
I got a point in perception.
And I think you also have one in Streetwise too, don't you?
I do.
You're a Streetwise droid. You've seen shit.
He's seen shit. He came in like a crate, just like chilling. Yeah. He's seen some shit. Give me a perception roll. So how many points do you have in perception? The one?
Just one, yeah.
And then how many do you have in cunning? Which is across the top. That's in your...
Just one.
Just the one, because you were a droid.
Yeah. I have a soak value of 3, though, whatever that is.
Boy,
I soak
you can...
pretty well.
Soak, just for the record, is if you get into a firefight, whatever the damage rolled is, you take your soak off of that. Right? So soak is how much damage you kind of can shrug off in each hit.
Got it.
It's a damage threshold.
Yeah. So I will give you, let's see what up. He's being an open book with you right now. He wants you to trust him, so it's going to be an easy one. You have a proficiency in this, so I'm going to give you a yellow dice and a light blue dice because he's being an open book with you, but I am going to give you one, purple die, a bad one. Because there is a chance you could fail this, but this is rolled in your favor because he would like you to believe him.
Oh yeah!
All successes.
3 successes.
3 successes. You look at him and he is exhausted and completely defeated, and he is telling you what he knows. He is telling you the truth.
All right, so this guy is legitimately loyal to the Empire.
As far as he knows,
and the ideals.
This is the truth.
All right.
Right? As far as he can tell, this is his truth.
Being sincere with us.
Okay.
Yeah, he is being sincere. He does not believe that there is anyone... He doesn't know who you can contact. He doesn't know who's alive. So you guys are on your own.
Okay.
In the Anoat system, and as far as he knows, Adelhard is a crazy who is starving his own people, and this cannot be allowed to continue. Well. He would like to, and in not so many words, he does insinuate that things would probably just be easier if Adelhard were to disappear. And he doesn't know who else he can trust, but since you guys brought this to him, he feels he can trust you.
So are we good for the incinerator toilet idea?
I think first we should worry about getting admittance into this event. Or
Baumgartner says, I can have you put on this event as security. What you do once you get to this event is up to you. I can't help you. I will be there, but I cannot help you.
Of course.
And I do not know you because you do not
exist.
You do not report to me.
Yeah.
And we understand that we have not had this conversation.
And you have not been here.
What
Correct.
conversation?
You haven't been here. And he doesn't know you. He's never spoken to you. He's only spoken to your commanding officer, Hughes, who likes you very much.
Okay.
Hughes will also be there.
Good.
He'll give you the guest list, right, for the event. You also do not have that. If someone finds you with it, he will deny.
Yep.
He's giving you the guest list for the event, and you will be put on the security detail that will be inside the event. Right? So you're not stuck outside on the door. He will put you inside the event, but what happens from then on is up to you, and he cannot help you.
Our uniforms include armor and helmets, am I correct?
Yeah, you have not like full face helmets, but they are the like stupid little hats that mostly cover your face.
Shit. Okay. I was just be like, we could maybe do something, because if we were wearing helmets that covered our faces like stormtroopers, then we wouldn't have to worry about...
you are not stormtroopers, you are
being
Imperial.
identified.
You are just Imperial, like, goons, basically, right? So you get the, like, wool jodhpurs and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That will have to suffice.
Whatever we do, we have to... I think it's in our best interest to make this look like it's a rebel assassination plot. Because if it goes wrong, we can blame it on the rebels.
Oh, man.
If it goes right, we can blame it on the rebels.
Right.
If we all go outside and roll around in the mud for a while, it would look very convincing.
Well, I think the trick would be that we ourselves don't disguise ourselves as rebels because we'll die. But if we make people think this whole plot was orchestrated by the rebels...
I'll leave the political fineries to yourself, if that's okay.
Sure.
I still have this list of things that could be fixed. Do you just want me to leave this with you or later?
I will take a look at it.
Okay, cool.
Right,
Just got like a thumb drive.
You
He's
can
just
tell.
Like, do you want this?
You can tell this is not important to him
No,
at the
of
current
course.
moment, considering he just told you to assassinate a governor.
Oh
But,
yeah, no.
but he will take it from
to
you.
Magus, it is the same thing.
He will take it from you, though.
He's just like, yeah, we need to assassinate that guy, and also your filing system could be updated. If we could just, if I could just do that for you.
And then you are dismissed.
Cool.
From his office. You have never been there. And through your data pad in the next hour comes all of the information about the banquet tonight, which is going to be held in the main hall. Right? There is a main hall. It's busy being set up now. You don't have to help with setup because you haven't been assigned to it. But if you're not doing anything else, as the GM, I can tell you it might be a good idea to get the lay of the land. I will poke you in that direction unashamedly.
I'll go.
And yeah, I'll leave it a little bit open up to you. What you guys need to do right now is tell me how exactly you plan to do this thing if you were assassinating Adelhard at this banquet.
What?
See, I have no experience in espionage or assassination. I know how to use a blaster pistol, but I'm more skilled with my tongue. So
Ladies.
I know how.
Look, no one else was going to take that.
I don't think we should assassinate anyone. I think we should play them against one another and see if they can take each other out. We have dirt on Hughes. We have dirt on
Adelhard. There are too many variables in that, at least in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
There's, especially with living organisms, no offense, there's too many chaotic variables at play. I think that it would be easier to just be done with them. And while I do not have a lot of experience with political finery, I do have a lot of experience with mechanical workplace accidents.
yeah, we need to be very careful how we proceed because Baumgartner will not hesitate to throw us under the bus to save his ass.
If we're found out.
Even if, and there's the distinct possibility that even if we were successful, he'll point to us as well.
I could just as easily rig one of these doors to accidentally shut when someone's halfway through it and cut them in half.
I mean, that would be it's just a terrible accident. That's probably
No,
the
of
best.
course. There's just be a terrible
God, that door was
accident.
just entirely too efficient, don't you think?
I guess I better go fix that.
The doors.
Goodness.
The doors into this place are not like
not
spaceship
automated
doors.
Yeah,
doors.
can I
They
get
are-
the
they're not
land?
This is
doors.
an old government building that they have retrofitted. He's not going to just walk into the room and explode.
Why don't we?
Unless you can figure out a way to do that. Like, if you can sell that to me, I'll take it.
Yeah, let's get some more information on
Let's
what's
survey
happening
the-
at this banquet
let's-
hall, so we can.
What's the building made out of? What kind of equipment does it use? That
What kind
kind
of
of
poisons
stuff.
can we get our hands
So I'm
on?
there
Yeah, it's
setting
to
up
say, like,
chairs, taking in all the data.
Yeah, so, you look like you belong when you walk in to see what's up. There are several long tables being set up. It's kind of like a wedding if there were a whole bunch of long tables at a wedding, right? Or like a feast in Game of Thrones, right? There's a head table that is kind of set above everything, and then there are 4 long,
That's
like
where
Harry
Walder
Potter.
Frey's gonna be,
Yeah,
right?
and there are 4 like Harry Potter house tables. Like,
I was like, oh,
being
cool. So
set
we'll
up.
just put some people with crossbows up there. We'll wait until the guy who's in charge has a speech, and then people will get stabbed.
Yeah, we'll start playing the Empire version of Reigns of Castamere, and everything will be great.
Yeah.
So everyone's setting this up. There are people in the kitchens beginning to make all of the food. You don't know any of these people because you've only been here a couple of days.
Do
right?
they have
So
any
you don't-
food allergies?
Not that you know of. People who are making the food might know. Right, but you don't know. You do have the guest list. On the guest list are a lot of commanding officers, like pretty much everyone who is anyone on the surrounding planets. If you're particularly interested about any positions, I can give you that. But what I can tell you is that you know at least one of these people is a smuggler because you recognize his name and the name of his ship.
Ah.
Because you saw it on the nurse's file the other day. The ship is the Silver Wolf. And the smuggler is Stephen Prince. Goodness.
Oh!
Goodness!
This smuggler has been invited to this banquet. You recognize that he
Interesting.
brought in a shipment.
Rebel smuggler has been invited to an Empire banquet.
Well, he is
This
a
is-
smuggler. You know that the rebels are mostly headed up by smugglers. The smugglers are the only people who are really able, outside of the Empire, to get anything from point A to point B in this sector, right? But they might not necessarily be rebels.
They might
You
just be
don't-
self-serving,
You
right?
don't know that much about Stephen Prince. You do know
Right.
that mostly the rebels are smugglers. You can tell just from people talking about it. But you don't actually know if Stephen Prince specifically is a rebel. But he is there, and he is the only person there who is not like a high-ranking Imperial. You know that much. You know that his ship is docking because of the document you took from the nurse's station. You know that his ship docked this morning and that he was bringing in a good quantity of Bacta, and he will be taking out blood.
We could send a security detail to take a look at his ship, a spot inspection, start disrupting some things there.
You would have to run that through your commanding officer, Hughes.
Oh, right.
Because you cannot run anything through Baumgartner.
Yeah.
We could adjust the dossiers that they have so that his ship is included on the spot inspections that they'll be performing.
Are you a slicer?
I'm a mechanic.
If you can figure out a way to do that and a way to roll it and you succeed, I will give it to you. Because I don't want to tell you no. Or you could spend a destiny point.
I think we should
Which
save
will
that
flip-
destiny point for
That is your last.
assassination.
We're
People
gonna
keeping
save
track. People keeping track at home. I have 2 and they have 1.
Yep. Okay.
But I will allow you to hack that system with that destiny point.
Or do we want to just try to negotiate with this Stephen Prince and see if he's got any crazy ideas?
Well, that's what I think.
He's
If
a
we
rebel.
could get some evidence on him to hold over him, then he'd probably be more willing to talk.
Right.
At the moment, he is likely with his ship. If not at his ship, he will be in the mess.
And it's not like whatever
We could just
contraband
run
that he
we
has.
could run a spot inspection. He doesn't know 6 ways from Sunday. You need to authorize anything. There's 3
We're
of
just
us.
doing due diligence.
Yeah.
Right? Like they can't.
Plausible
get us in
deniability.
trouble.
We can say we were just doing our best to
fill the
Yeah.
time and support the Empire.
Sure.
Okay, good. Now, the government building that this gala is being held in, just a regular government building
Yeah,
standard.
it was more or less the old town hall, kind of built a little bit like a church, right? Like big old building.
Still stone, wood, mostly.
Yeah, mostly stone. Things on Nethoin are mostly stone.
Is there electrical?
Yeah, it is all wired. They have rewired everything old, so there are new lights and everything, but they didn't put like blast doors or anything on it. It's just like an old stone building, and it's in the middle of heavily fortified everything else. So they haven't really fortified this building in particular. It's got kind of a rustic charm thing.
How
going
will
on.
he be arriving? Does he ride on a shuttle or something like that in order to get to and from the party?
He just the Adelhard seems to just show up. You're not 100% sure how he's going to be there.
Okay.
And it's very likely he has his own security detail of loyalists.
Yeah. No, I was just be like, he could just do this like hitman and just fucking rig his shuttle to crash or something like that.
He is already on Nethoin because
Right.
Baumgartner had dinner with him last night.
What
He
if
is not
his-
coming in on a shuttle.
What if his security detail got sick and needed to be replaced with 3 new people,
If you
including
could
a charming
find,
droid?
yeah, if you could tell me how you would find his security detail, then totally.
Now, also, Hughes knows us.
I was going to say, not
So-
only does Hughes know us, but we
Right.
have to hit Adelhard and Hughes, I think, in the same evening.
Yeah, we gotta clear 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, we got to...
As GM, I
One
will tell you
droid.
that if you cut the head of the snake off, I don't think Hughes is going to be
A problem.
a problem.
Yeah.
We should.
I just want to kill 2 with 1 stone.
Suddenly, AJ has bloodlust.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about my chances here.
How do we feel about going and having a talk with Stephen Prince?
I think that's probably the next logical step.
All right, let's go talk to Stephen Prince. For the sake of ease, he is with his ship.
Cool.
So when you arrive at the shuttle bay, which Julian you saw in your tour, so you know where it is. You were already taking a robot back to your bunk.
Yep.
By that point,
I regret nothing.
Connell. So you know exactly where that is, and he is exactly where he should be on the report you were given. You know exactly where he is.
So we'll
And he is, in fact, with his ship. It has been offloaded, and now he is just killing time with his ship.
Interesting. So we won't find too much on here, but we can talk to him directly. So passes a spot inspection, get in, and then begin the discussions.
Yeah, so you want to tell him that you were a spot inspection
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah.
You know what? He is inclined to agree with you. That would be a very easy roll, so I'm just going to give it to you.
Cool.
Okay.
Because you are obviously Imperials, and he is obviously in an Imperial base.
So he's a smuggler, right?
Yeah.
Can I just straight out ask him, do you know Han Solo?
He has heard of Han Solo, but
Okay.
he has not ever personally met
fan
him.
droid.
Wow, I'm surprised. Like, I just figure all smugglers know one another and hang out and play
Yeah, it's
games
like
and
Canadians.
stuff.
Like, damn.
I'm a little shocked.
little smuggler racism going on there. They all look the same to you, droid? Let's pay some lip service to what we said we were doing. Just look around the ship a little bit. I mean, it's probably if it's been unloaded, we probably won't find much.
Everything has been unloaded. There are some personal effects, a couple pictures of his family.
Does Stephen Prince have a co-pilot akin to a...
Nope.
Okay.
He flies
He
solo.
doesn't have a
It's-
Wookiee.
I
it's
was
quite-
hoping, but...
It's quite a small ship.
All right.
So I was going
Size
to
doesn't matter,
look at
it's
him
how you
straight
use
up. Mr. Prince, what is your business here on Nethoin?
I was bringing in, supplies. They asked me to bring in some supplies for the hospital. I've worked for the Imperials for some time now. I'm sure it says in my records.
Who asked you to bring in the supplies?
It came in from...
Was it Baumgartner? Was it Hughes?
Came in from Baumgartner. It says on my orders, and he passes you his data pad, and it has been signed by Baumgartner.
Please excuse the candor of our protocol droid. He's
Yeah, something.
excitable.
You tried to fix the optimism, and you just put him in full Phoenix right, huh?
I'm trying to fix the optimism. His aggression went up, but just give me a minute. I'm trying to fix...
How long will you be staying on Nethoin?
Oh, just until tomorrow morning. I understand that they'll be loading my ship back up, and then in the morning I'll be heading back to my family on Bespin.
What are you taking with you?
I don't know. They told me they'd have 3 or 4 boxes.
Do they have a mute button?
Interesting. Where will you be staying? Will you be staying on the base with us, or do you have accommodations provided elsewhere?
No, I understand I'll be staying in the base. They generally have, little private rooms for pilots as they stay overnight.
Interesting. Any plans or activities? Will you be leaving the base? We need to know for our security detail purposes.
No, I will be on the base. I will be in the base all night. I won't be going outside of it.
Excellent.
Do you have any reservations about killing people?
Does he have an off switch that I can just...
No. He's very taken aback by that, and he goes, "No, I've never killed anyone in my life. I don't."
Some smuggler you are.
Your robot's very judgmental. I don't know if I like it.
I'm trying to fix it. I don't know if I want to. It's too funny.
He doesn't seem to know anything in particular about what he is taking, or if he does, he is playing a very good job of pretending like he's very taken aback by this. Mm-hmm. But he does grow a bit of a spine, and he says, a lot of this was asked by your compatriots earlier. Shouldn't this all be in the report?
Are you questioning the Imperial authority, good sir?
Roll me an intimidation check on that. What's your intimidation at? That is, I'm going to give it, what is it?
It's like probably there's coercion.
Yeah, I'd give it.
It's a will thing,
I want to
right?
give it a leadership roll.
Sure.
Right? You were really trying to make him fall in line. So
yeah.
that's.
I've got grit as well. So
that's leadership and presence.
Cool. So that's I have 1 in leadership and then 2 in presence.
Okay, so you're gonna get 2. Yeah, pass me those back. So you're gonna get 2 dice overall, 1 green. He's not super into it. You're in a position of power. So I've only given you 1 bad
Sweet.
dice and 1 good situational dice because you are in a position of power here.
Okay, so 4 successes and 2 fails, but
2 failures, and 4 successes, and 1 advantage. Okay, so you are. He does quail again. Whatever spine he had, he's done. He's done. No, thank you. And he kind of quails and he goes, "I'm sorry, sir. I don't mean to. I don't mean to speak back against you. I just, this is. I don't generally get checked more than once when I'm here."
We're tightening things up around here. I'm sure you've heard rumblings of unease. We're just trying to put those horrible rumors to rest.
I try not to listen to the rumors. I'm just here to shuttle things back and forth.
Interesting. Well, unless my comrades have anything further to add, I think this is all we're going to get.
Which I think is good.
If you guys think that was plenty, I'm
stares at the robot. It's like,
we'll be keeping an eye on you, Mr. Prince.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Turn around, because...
So the banquet is fast approaching. You have also not eaten today. So please take 2 points of mental strain.
No.
Which, you should all have 11 or 12 in your strain.
Yeah.
Threshold, so you're fine, but you are tired and you are hungry.
Getting a little tired.
And I'm gonna pull on that as the GM that, you need a plan. Right? Like, you're all feeling the strain and you need a plan.
Yeah.
We need to sneakily kill 2 officers at a gala.
Or just one.
Or just one.
2 would be more fun.
It would be more fun if we got both of them, but killing Governor Adelhard at this gala, especially, the thing is that we're in an incredibly backwoods kind of place, so the amount of equipment that I could use to fail to kill him is reduced significantly.
And the security will be magnitudinous.
Yes, he is likely going to have his own private guard, just from what you can pick up. He is likely going to have his own private guard. There is going to be other Imperial security, but around the same rank as you.
Okay,
I got an idea.
I'm gonna do the toilet thing.
I was going to say, how good are you at explosives?
AJ has an idea.
Well, if you're pretty good at explosives, what if
What's your idea?
We know where Adelhard's going to ultimately sit,
yes,
right,
he
for
is
the dinner.
He is going to be in the middle of the high table.
So, and we also know that Hughes is doing dirty dealings with Adelhard.
You're thinking structural failure in the building. We could cause a collapse and kill just the 2 of them at the table.
Hughes is going to be his right-hand man.
I'm thinking that if we can somehow get Hughes with one element of an explosive device upon him that is proximity triggering the other. When the two come together at the dinner, we can create an explosion that will light up the sky.
We're going to be present in the room while they're there, so
Yes.
we could just use a remote if we wanted to, but we could plant a remote.
But the remote would be triggered back to, or,
Traced
back to us.
What if
Can it be?
what if we plant explosives, foundational explosives in the building, and just call it a rebel attack?
You are going to be in that building.
We can leave.
I'm thinking
You
a
could
small explosion.
leave your post,
We can
but
leave
your
our post.
post is inside the
Our
building.
post is inside. If we survive
Baumgartner will
bombing,
Like, everyone is going to be
yeah,
inside
like
this building.
Baumgartner
Oh,
and the
wait.
rest of the Imperial officers are going to be in there as well.
I got it. You got the trigger, but we position ourselves close enough that after the small bomb that goes off to kill the two of them, we're the first couple of people on the scene, at which point you can reach down and be like, look, I just found this triggering device on Hughes. And we blame the attack on Hughes. Will people buy that, though?
What do you think?
I mean, you do have like
I think it's a
Mr.
great
Coercion
plan.
leadership
Yeah,
right here
and
in
I mean,
Julian.
I don't mind if, in the service of the Empire, that some other lives get lost in this.
Yeah,
Gasp!
we know.
The first
We
thing you
know.
did was assassinate a
I feel that
dude.
right now we're doing a service to the Empire by rooting out this, and if we can make it as plausible as possible, because if it's a hit, if it's a like a single hit, people are going to be looking and interrogating. If it's an attack or an accident or a catastrophe, something like that, it becomes wider and more confused. And I think so. This explosive plan is probably.
Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah.
What kind of ships are there orbiting the planet?
As far as you know, like, do you want a model or anything? Like, there are no Imperial Star Destroyers here, if that
Okay.
is what you were asking.
I'm looking for something that has lasers large enough to kill 2 men in a shot.
None of the ships you saw in the shipping bay have lasers like that.
Any of them that are orbiting the planet?
Not that you know of. You don't have access to those records. Damn it. You have not found those records.
I was going to say I could put like a geosynchronous
the
locator
nurse would
on
not
him,
have.
and then a ship could fire from orbit, killing the two of them through the roof, and it would look like an attack from space.
Alternately, if you don't mind me popping in here, like, I don't want to...
No, go ahead.
I don't
man.
want to, like, God mode any of you or anything, but you do have guns, and if you kill Adelhard, Baumgartner is likely to be in a good position, and Baumgartner got your back.
Well, he's also going to throw us under the bus if we fail in killing him.
If you
Yes.
fail in killing Adelhard, but he's going to throw you under the bus regardless of if you fail in killing Adelhard.
What about Hughes? That's the problem. Well, actually, no.
Hughes is
wait.
under Baumgartner.
Yeah, say Gardner's above Hughes, so
what if we recruit Hughes? Hughes, no, we can
Right,
be
we can
straight up with
blackmail
Hughes.
Hughes.
it's too risky to try and involve him. He could just as easily pass this information up to Adelhard and try to root us out.
Yeah.
Hughes is sitting right beside Adelhard. They are good buds.
If we find a way to, I bet I could probably rig a small detonator into his badge, so that when he sits down next to him at the table, the explosion would be enough to kill the two of them and only maybe moderately harm anyone else who's in the area. And then we could run up and be like, "Oh, what's that?" Like, because I don't think the explosive can be traced back to a detonator.
I will
Like,
allow you to do that, but you will have to use a destiny point to get it into the badge.
Fair. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's our best.
Two birds with one stone.
It's our best shot.
Gets the job done.
And then we give Bree all the power by using our last.
Yeah, this
destiny
is their
token.
last destiny point for those of you keeping track at home.
Are we liking this idea?
I don't know.
think-
Isn't there a
I
clever
don't-
way we could get it into the badge without using a destiny coin?
Yeah, we must be. It doesn't have to be
No,
the badge.
I will require you to get an explosive onto Hughes's person without him knowing.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard.
To basically build
But-
an explosive
yeah,
into
but-
his,
but if-
his
yeah, if-
military badge, I think.
If you use a destiny point, I will let you bullshit retcon that any way you would like.
Wow.
But it's gonna cost that destiny point because that's pretty insane.
That's fair. Because all the Imperial officers wear that little like badge thing.
Yeah,
on
they got their
the-
weird little
on their
pip
lapel,
things.
which
Yep.
has like their ranking and stuff like that on it.
They got their pips.
But they're pretty bulky, which means I could probably hollow that out and put a lot of explosives in it.
Mm-hmm.
Even actually, I could probably put in directional explosives, and so wait until he's facing him, and it would just kill Adelhard.
Jeez. Is there any way we can Manchurian candidate our way into convincing someone else to assassinate him?
See, this is what I was thinking with Prince.
Like a sleeper agent?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have time to turn someone
No, we
into
don't.
Agent Bluebird. Like,
I mean, this is another thing. If you can talk me through it, I will allow it. Prince is not of the sort that would just pull a gun and murder someone, as you can probably tell from your conversation with him.
we're getting our killing gloves on.
Yeah, they literally just put their gloves back on.
I feel like the explosive is probably our only, given the time constraints of the banquet tonight, is our only real option.
It is at the very least our best option for both killing Adelhard and keeping us anonymous.
If you think you can pull it off.
I could. Now, do you want me to use directional explosives? Or, I could use bidirectional explosives so it kills the both of them, but only the both of them.
Right.
So it blasts only out and in, and it
if
doesn't go out.
if you use that destiny point, I will allow you to do that.
Be careful
Oh,
about
sweet.
being too clever. You have a reputation.
that is his entire character is hello, I am too clever.
Right. But people know
smart.
that you are clever. So
Oh, right. Yeah.
should it be
traced
too
back to
refined? The rebels don't have the technological superiority that we do.
Yeah.
A bidirectional explosive, it wouldn't ring like them.
You know what? I'm really optimistic about this whole team up and your input on his. Like, this is a really good team, guys. We got this.
All right. So we're gonna
Spend it.
We're gonna
All right, let's
curse
do this.
explode. This is basically a
right.
space age
Flip it.
Hitler
I'm flipping the
assassination.
coin.
Someone literally attempted to assassinate Hitler by putting explosives in a briefcase under his desk at a dinner.
Yep.
Like you were pretty much trying to assassinate Hitler.
Yeah, what was it? There was a movie about it. Tom Cruise, he has one eye.
Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Valkyrie, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so let's go to the banquet. They have flipped. So for those of you keeping track at home, all of the destiny tokens are black right now. You go to the banquet, you take your posts. You were just inside the main doors. Adelhard comes in from the back, meets with Hughes, right? But very briefly, right? And there's so many people around, right? They
I was going to say, like, did they have a private meeting, the two of them?
They did not. He just comes up to him kind of as he goes to sit down at the table. And as soon as he sits down at the table, he is about to give a speech. But no sooner does he say...
I'm about to give a speech.
Does he say, the citizens, right? His usual. It's become like the opening of his speech.
Of the Anoat Sector.
Yeah, like even though this is entirely Imperials, that's just what he says now.
Is
Because
Officer
he's-
Hughes right next to him?
Hughes is beginning to take his seat, yes.
Okay. Because I almost, as he's like, citizens, I want to be like, shut the fuck up. And like, hit the
I am going to flip literally all three of these.
Oh no!
I have used all three of my destiny tokens.
Hey, we got all our destiny tokens back.
I have such good.
They are all white now, but you cannot use them against this thing that I am doing with them. So, as he sits down, everyone is just beginning to sit, realizing that the banquet is about to start. The doors behind you slam open, right? Like almost hitting you, slam open. And 5 humanoid but distinctly not human creatures come into the room. They're very light on their feet. They're about 5 feet tall.
Are they Bothans?
They have grayish blue skin, and they are reptilian in nature. They're very light on their feet. They are all carrying wicked knives. And they basically run up very, very quickly to the head table. One of them launches over the table and just murders Adelhard. Right in the face. He is dead.
I just standing there with the trigger like, oh no! Puts it away.
Adelhard slumps down into the table, and you can see the blood seeping across the white tablecloth.
We
and
should
no
probably
one,
open fire on these creatures.
No one,
Yep.
no
They
one
might want to be our
quite-
friends, though.
No one quite knows what to do for a second. And then one of the creatures who went up with the one who did the stabbing, but not the one who did the stabbing, takes out a hollow projector and places it on the table in the bloodstain directly beside Adelhard's head. And it opens, and you see a man. He is humanoid, but he is not human. He's wearing Grand Admiral dress, and he addresses the people.
Is this on?
Wah wah.
Citizens of the Anoat Sector, I speak to all of you now. I do apologize for such a barbaric use of force, but I believe the tyranny under which you have been living these past months has gone on long enough. I know of how your people suffer, and I hold your Governor Adelhard personally responsible for such senseless and short-sighted loss of life. More than that, I come bearing news. I am aware that you have seen the transmissions from Leia Organa of the self-proclaimed Rebel Alliance, trumpeting the destruction of the Death Star and the subsequent death of the Emperor, as well as his chief enforcer, Vader. I am here to tell you, this is all true. I have been to Endor. I have seen what remains there, and I can assure you that these things did happen. The hollow footage of the Death Star's destruction has not been altered in any way. The rebels are telling the truth. But really, these things matter little. Regardless of their victory, the rebels do not hold the answers to peace which you now seek. Even now they fight amongst themselves, unable to do so much as pick a leader. Certainly, these rebels have been gifted a decisive victory, but this is a lucky victory. They will tear themselves apart from within soon enough. That is not to say that in the wake of the Emperor's death, there has not also been fighting within the ranks of the Empire. I would not expect any of you to believe such a thing. This is something I have come to rectify. For such a thing, though, I need your help. A great empire is not one that exercises an iron grip on its citizens. A great empire is one that is built upon the foundations of a strong, united citizenry. An order which will put its people first. Your Governor Adelhard did not understand this. Instead, he strove to control you by starving you of information, by giving you no choice but to trust his judgment. I will not do that. From the Chimera's own stores, I am currently sending medical supplies, droids, food, and cleaning water to your planets. My people will start in the largest city centers and work our way out until everyone in need is seen. I will not abandon these worlds in your time of need. I will put you first. And together, we will restore order to this system.
You recognize this Grand Admiral because there is only one non-human Grand Admiral.
Yep.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Is he blue?
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Well, it's a hollow projection, so they're all blue.
They're all blue, but you can tell that this is a chiss. This is the only chiss that anyone has ever actually met. This is Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Calling it now. Thrawn is Snoke. Heard it here first, guys.
Yep.
And he has completed your assassination for you, and that's where we're going to call it for this episode.
I almost wanted to be like, and set off the explosion, distraction, and run out. If things started going bad, I was just going to be like, distraction!
So we're going to see what's up with all y'all when we come back, because now Thrawn's here too. Surprise.
Oh, no.
I mean, it kind of worked in our favor, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he just did his, Nogri just did your dirty work for you.
And now we've got all of our tokens back.
And they're all, I have no more Destiny tokens.
So we can do
that's
something
it.
really crazy.
Now you can do something
Steal
real
a Star
crazy.
Destroyer.
And for this episode of Terrible Warriors, I've been your Game Master, Bree Poison. And to my left, we have...
Decidedly less evil this episode, Julian.
Whoa.
Constantly optimistic AJ Fry.
Connell Macbeth, better known as Dr. Terrawat, playing the extremely relieved Magus Arcturus. I've got explosive blue balls, though, now. I was going to blow some people up.
I'm gonna blow some things up and then turn away with old Destiny tokens.
Fucking throws the remote on the ground.
Just
explodes.
stomps out of the room.
Angrily.
All right, I'll see you next time, guys. Take it away, Justin.
All the chips are on the table now. Ashes of the Empire will conclude in 2 weeks' time with a Grand Admiral finale. Wah wah. New episodes of The Terrible Warriors out every Tuesday and Thursday. On Thursday, we fly back out to Edmonton and Derek DeBard and his Edmonton crew as they start episode 3 of the Unknown Armies campaign, a film by Alan Smithy. And the carnival they found themselves in, oh, it ain't all fun and games. It's a deadly game of cat and mouse. And our terrible warriors have an unfortunate taste for cheese. Next week on Tuesday, alternating with Ashes of the Empire, we return to that 7th sea, the birth of a folk hero. And after taking a long bath, it's time to go to a party. It's the fiesta time in love and consequence. Next Tuesday. On Thursday, alternating with Unknown Armies, it's Kagagami High, another game being run by Derek DeBard with players from across the country. And it wouldn't be a high school story arc without a battle of the bands. It's time to show your school spirit in part 3 of Kakagami High. And did you know we've got another podcast that you can subscribe to? Every Fridays, there's a new episode of the Cambridge Chronicles. It's still part of the Terrible Warrior family, but we gave it its own podcast because it's all just one game, one long game of Dungeons & Dragons. And now that we've entered into their 3rd day of recording, I've been told this is where the story really starts to hit its stride. Right now, A Tale of Two Druids continues each Friday, but you'll have to subscribe to it over at terriblewarriors.com/Cambridge Chronicles. Follow us on Twitter to find out what we're going to be doing in the new year. You can join our Discord channel and hang out with us there. And of course, if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more, you can choose to support us at Patreon as well. Every dollar goes back into the operating costs of this show. Today's Terrible Warriors and your agents of the Empire: Connell Macbeth, Julian Spillane, AJ Fry, and Game Master Brie Poison. And we'll return to Nethoin for one last time, right here on the Terrible Warriors.